All right, let's get right into it. There's this raw, kind of intense mindset that's been blowing up online. You've probably seen it summed up in one pretty aggressive phrase: be that fucking guy. Now, today, we're not here to judge it. We're just going to deconstruct it. Use its own words, its own logic to really understand the philosophy behind all that fire. So, this entire worldview, it's pretty much built on this one core idea, this one cyclical quote. The thinking is that society has gotten way too comfortable. We're in soft times. And what does that do? It supposedly creates soft men. So the whole point of this mindset is to break that cycle by deliberately, forcefully becoming a hard man through sheer will, ready for the hard times that are supposedly coming. So to really get what this is all about, we have to first understand the problem that this whole mindset believes it's solving. Look, this isn't just your standard self-improvement. It's framed as a direct, necessary reaction to what they see as a weakness in society. The comfort and ease of modern life, they don't see that as a good thing. They see it as a threat. And the only way to fight that threat is to totally reject comfort and embrace this extreme, self-imposed discipline to build up your resilience. Okay, so if that's the problem, then what's the solution? Well, it all kicks off with a war fought right inside your own head. The first step is pretty radical. It's a complete rejection of what's considered normal. It means you have to consciously cut yourself off from anything that's seen as a distraction. Socializing, trying to fit in, partying, all that stuff is viewed as part of the soft times, and it's gotta go if you want to stay focused on the mission. This quote right here, it perfectly nails the ideal mental state. It's not about being happy. It's not about being angry. It's about getting to this place of cold, controlled focus. Emotion is a liability. The goal is this kind of Zen-like calm, not for relaxing, but to be perfectly ready for what the philosophy just calls war. So this philosophy splits action into two totally different approaches. It argues that most people out there are playing to avoid loss. They're defensive, they're driven by fear. The shift that's required is to move to an offensive mindset, playing to win. You're not worried about what might go wrong anymore. You are 100% focused on what you can achieve. And this brings us to the huge question that's just hanging over all of this. I mean, with all this sacrifice and this much intensity, why? Why would you put yourself through all this? And the answer is just pure defiance. It flips the whole question on its head. See, the burden of proof isn't on the person who's working this hard. It's on the person who isn't. To this mindset, putting in every ounce of effort isn't some choice you have to justify. It's the default. It's the only logical thing to do. Next up, let's look at how this internal mindset actually translates into what you do, into external actions, and the sacrifices you have to make to actually live this way. A really key concept here is disappearing. Now, this doesn't mean you literally vanish. It means stepping away from the spotlight, getting off social media, dropping the need to prove yourself to other people. It's all about doing the hard work when absolutely no one is watching, building up your skills in private so that you're ready to perform in public when the time is right. And this connects directly to that whole idea of internal validation. The goal isn't to build a life that looks impressive to everybody else. The entire focus is on a life that feels good to you. And that good feeling comes directly from the struggle and from the work itself. This leads to a pretty radical idea. The dream is not the destination. It's not the house, not the car, not the job title. The dream is the journey. It's the 4 a.m. wake-ups, the late nights, those moments you want to quit but you just don't. That whole process, the grind, that's what's presented as the actual reward. But what about when things go wrong? I mean, this path is pretty much defined by pain and failure. So how are you supposed to deal with that? The philosophy frames this as a really clear choice between two paths. You've got the easy path, which is all downhill, all about immediate gratification and weakness. And then you have the war path, as they call it. That's the righteous path. It's the uphill climb of discipline, of motion, of overcoming every single obstacle. One leads to decay, the other leads to strength. Simple as that. This is such a powerful way to reframe failure. Within this mindset, hitting rock bottom isn't the end. It's the ultimate starting point. It's the only place where you've got nothing left to lose and you can build the absolute strongest foundation for the person you're always meant to become. And that's because failure isn't just accepted, it's seen as totally essential. The logic is simple. If you aren't failing, you aren't pushing your limits. Living so cautiously that you never ever fail, well, that's presented as the biggest failure of all.
So what about fear? It's not about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of fear. And the process is really clear. First, you acknowledge the fear, because hey, courage can't exist without it. Second, you prepare like crazy, relentlessly, to build the confidence you need. And then finally, no matter what, you take action. You walk the walk.
And that brings us to the final stage of this whole mindset, where it becomes really clear that this is not just a phase, it's a permanent state of being.
So in this view, rest isn't a tool for recovery you use along the way. Nope. It's the final reward you get after a life of work is finally complete. That desire to rest in the middle, that's just weakness whispering in your ear, trying to tempt you onto that easy path. Now, this is a tough one. The goal is explicitly not to be content or satisfied. The moment you become satisfied is the moment you stop growing. That perpetual attempt to get more, to do more, to be more, that constant striving is what forges you into a better version of yourself. And maybe this quote gets to the absolute core of the entire philosophy. It suggests that the real enemy isn't some obstacle out there, or even some weakness inside you. The true battle is against our own fear of how powerful we could actually become if we just truly unleashed our potential. It all boils down to this one final concept, the price tag. You want to be tough? The price is hardship. You want patience? Well, the price is being forced to wait. Every single desirable trait you can think of has a cost, and that cost is paid with struggle, with time, and with pain. And so that's the question this whole mindset really leaves you with. It's not about whether you want the rewards, the strength, the discipline, the success. I mean, who doesn't? The only real question is, are you willing to step up and pay the price?